Okay, I just got done making the other video where I'm just crashing out over the Xenomorph changes, but now we're going to talk about the rest of the developer update. I know this is like kind of funny. If you want to see my idea and feelings about the Xenomorph changes, that's in another video because I talk about that for a really, really long time. So I didn't want to put that with the rest of the dev update changes, but I usually do make a video talking about the dev update changes for whenever they do that. So this is for March. The big thing is that they're going to be updating mending, because people find mending very, very frustrating to face. It literally is just like a hold M1 simulator, which EBD already has a wealth of hold M1 simulator on the gens already. So doing that after an attack is kind of so they're making it not as long, not take as long to mend. It's down to 10 seconds, and altruistic mending time it's down to 6. I wish there was more stuff like this in DBD, where like altruistic actions like were quicker. Because I feel like a lot of people play DBD like it's a 1v1v1v1v1 and not a 4v1, which leads to a lot of bad plays, people giving up, stuff like that. So if we just buff altruism plays, it encourage people to do that. So I like that. In accordance with this, Legion, who is the mend killer, is getting buffed accordingly. So they're getting a lot of really, really nice buffs. The two big ones are that fatigue time is down to 2.5 seconds, and their movement speed is up to 2.3 meters a second. So this is gonna be crazy, especially with the Eyrie button, where you fly over a pallet, break it, and just immediately break out of your power. This is gonna be really, really good, like really, really strong. There's already a lot of really, really good Legion mains like Tat that know already how to utilize the fatigue time when you break out of power to massive effect. So it's going to be even better now, which is really wild. So that's going to be like really cool. I think that's going to help the character a lot. I think Legion still is like a middling C tier killer as is. Ideally, you want most characters in the A or B tier zone. So I think this is going to help them a lot. There's some minor changes like Fail Frenzy is 1 second longer. So that's woohoo, yippee. I think another great change though is that the cooldown is now going to be 15 seconds instead of 20. I know personally when I play Legion, one of the things I can find frustrating is when I am trying to go for all those Fail Frenzy hits, there's just somebody who's like across a really, really large map, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, I got 2 or 3 hits, but now I'm just out of my power, and it feels like it takes 15 business days to get my power back, even though people are starting to group up now. But now my cooldown's not as long, so I can more capitalize on that situation, which is really, really nice. Another cool thing is that the movement speed earned by hit during Fail Frenzy is now 0.24 instead of 0.2. One of the best Legion add-ons consistently has always been Mural Sketch, which increases your speed. Now you're gonna have a base effect of this, and they said they're adjusting several add-ons. They might be going back to Mural Sketch and kind of doing the half in, half out thing. If they don't do that, that's gonna be great. I just hope they don't nerf Mural Sketch along with it. My question here is like the other mending killer is Deathslinger. Is Deathslinger not getting adjusted? Are we just like nerfing men but like not adjusting Deathslinger at all? He's the other mend killer. Did we just forget? Like wait a minute. But I will gladly take these changes for Legion though. Yeah, we're not covering the Xenomorph stuff. I'm furious. I'm mad. Already made a video about that. go watch that video. Go watch that video. Here, I'll stop right here. Editing brand, put the thing at the top. Go watch that video. Just a minor summary if you really don't want to go watch that video. The changes are making him way more survivor friendly, but as a result they're turbo buffing flame turrets and overall making the character way more frustrating to play and probably nerfing them to a significant extent. All right, the good guy, good old Chucky. This is a change that's been much requested by a lot of Chucky mains after the random nerf that happened without testing out of nowhere, is that the Hidey Ho cooldown is now going to 12 seconds instead of 14, and there's reduced time to reach max speed after Scamper. The old gameplay loop of Chucky was enter Hidey Ho, slice and dice at him, you're going super fast, and it's hard to really react. You can kind of do this cool like U-turn stuff or try to hide around a corner, which I did find fun, by the way. But now his gameplay has been shifted more into these really, really, really long slice and dices that give you a little bit more reactability, and it's supposed to be encouraging more scampers through windows or pallets. This is, I think this is worse. I think this is still a nerf to the character, but in terms of balancing, you go 1 of 2 routes, right? Balancing, you have a really, really strong ability, but it's not available all the time. So it has like a really long cooldown, only a certain number of uses. Dead Hard is balanced this way. New Dead Hard. Dead Hard's really, really good. So now you only use it every time you get a hook. Makes sense. The other route you go with that is you make the power kind of okay, but you always have access to it. Most perks in Dead by Daylight are balanced around this. Think about like most healing perks. They don't really have a proc state a lot of the time. It's just like, oh, well, I just heal faster. Or their proc states are like super easy, like desperate measures. Oh, if somebody's injured, I just heal faster. Like, yeah, people get injured all the time. But like, you have access to it frequently. So even though if the numbers aren't super impressive, you have access to it a lot. So that balances itself out. So they're going the latter route with the Scamper by making the cooldown a little bit nicer. That way, even though the ability is not as good as it used to be, you can do it more often. And there's definitely plenty of times I'm playing Chucky where like I hit that first slice of dice and it feels like I have to wait forever to do it again, even though there's so many opportunities where it would have been helpful. So this is going to help a lot with that. Also with the max speed after Scamper, Scampering is already kind of like where the kit is trying to focus now anyways. So making this base kit better, also without adjusting running shoes. They're not going the route of like half in, half out. They're just like, hey, you just get that extra speed. Wahoo! I know for a lot of Chucky mains that didn't abandon the character, they're going to be really happy with this. I think most of the Chucky mains that kind of played him casually, that more liked him because of that fast speed gameplay, are not going to care for this. This is an interesting one. Terror radius adjustments. So a lot of characters that have like coming out of nowhere kind of abilities like Billy are actually getting their terror radiuses increased. So Billy going up to 40, Black going up to 40. A lot of stealth characters that don't have a stealth terror radius, which is really weird, are actually getting that adjustment finally. Like Ghostface and Pig are going down to 24 meters. And Skull Merchant, for some reason, I guess they're whatever they have planned for Skull Merchant is kind of aiming more towards her stealth playstyle. That big rework for her that's happening again hasn't come out yet, but it might be leaning more into stealth just based off of this. But I like this change. It makes sense if like Wesker's gonna have a giant terror radius because he can come out of nowhere, that the other characters also have this. I think that makes sense. I just don't. Wait, where's Nurse in here? Like, where's Nurse? Where's the number one? I definitely think it makes sense for the other top three killers. Where's the number one? Now we're getting more information about the match surrender option. If one of the following conditions is met, the surrender option will now become available on the match details screen. When all the survivors are bots, the killer can now surrender. So no NPC match. There you go. When no generator has been completed for 10 consecutive minutes, the killer can surrender without disconnection penalty. You can lower that. You can lower that. You can lower that to like at least 5 minutes. At least 5 minutes. 10 minutes is a long time to wait. That's like a full game that you're sitting there while the other survivors are just like hiding in basement or stealthing around. You can lower that to 5. Come on. When all other remaining survivors are bots, the survivor can surrender without disconnection penalty. That makes sense. Like if everybody else has left the game, why do you gotta play it out? When all survivors are in the dying state, the survivor can surrender without penalty, which is great because if they're doing 4 on the floor bleed out, they can't just BM you anymore. You can just leave. And then they're just what, bleeding out bots? Like I said, the only issue with this is I think that the nobody has touched a gen for 10 minutes. You can lower that down to 5. They're giving Eyrie of Crows or the Forsaken Boneyard another variation where Shaq is in the middle. I still think I get like where they're going with this because like they kind of did the same thing with Ormond. Ormond is a really, really strong survivor map, but now there's like Ormond Lake Mine, there's Ormond 3, which is kind of like more balanced. So like they're essentially going, well, you can bring this map offering, but you might end up on an actually balanced map. So I get the idea. I still would rather see an update like a soft, like a shadow nerf to Eyrie Crows to not make it so abysmal to play on for the killer role. But this will at least make the map thing not as terrible. There's a whole lot of changes to survivor perks. Mostly these are the kind of like more stealthy perks, quick and quiet. Deception, Dance With Me, Red Herring are having their cooldowns improved or their overall duration of the ability improved. That's kind of like the main thing going on here. So they're looking at more like of the what they like to call the misdirect perks getting buffed. I don't hate these. I think that one of the ways you can go about discouraging people from using meta perks is by making the less valuable perks more enticing. I don't see these being like massively game changing, but it will entice some build variety. The big one with killer perks getting changed is Knockout. Knockout is completely reworked to do something completely different. Knockout has been kind of infamously been seen, and correctly so, as one of the most unhealthy perks in the game, because if you're not on comms, like it just like decimates a game because they can't find the slug to pick them up. Now, when a survivor drops a pallet, if they move more than 6 meters away from it for within 6 seconds, they gain 5% hindered for 5 seconds, which is crazy. One of the least fun gameplay styles in Dead by Daylight while playing Killer and Facing Survivors is people that just like to W key. I'm sure you guys have seen the recent Puffalo video where they run Windows and Deja Vu. Do red, run to yellow. Do red, run to yellow. You know, Now those people that just, you know, make a living off of playing literally as safe as possible in the survivor role will be punished. If you decide to just, oh, me W key pre-drop, W key pre-drop, like those people are going to have an awful time. And I've been waiting for something to dissuade the W key gameplay for so long. And now there's finally the perk that does it. Would I have liked a mechanic? Maybe, but we'll take a perk. Alien Instinct is still not great. They made the aura longer and the duration of the Oblivious longer, but like it's still worse barbecue. Like unless you're running an anti-heal build, like you're not really going to be running this. Hysteria is the same thing. They're like, oh well, the cooldown's less and the duration's longer. Hysteria's still kind of cheeks. Like Deathbound, same thing. Nemesis, same thing. They're like, hey, they're slightly better. Will you guys use these now? No. This is, besides knockout, these changes are just kind of like so minor, blink and you miss it. So yeah, those are my feelings on the rest of the changes for the March update. Like I said, the Xenomorph one, kind of like the most serious one for me. But what do you guys think about these changes? What are you most excited for? What are you scared of? Let me know down in the comments below. Other than that, be it for this video. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day today. I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. But if I do not, I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.